Cruise news time, and we've got some challenging stories for you today. There is a resolution to a captain who has been on trial for a tragic cruise collision a couple years ago. We also have a story about another cruise passenger passing away in a notorious place, and there was a boat rescue that the cruise ship was involved in that also had a fatality. So we've got that challenging cruise news, but then I've got some stuff on the lighter side. We'll do the challenging stuff, then we'll look, cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. For your face, I am on location today at Port Charlottetown in Prince Edward Island up here in Canada. It's my very last port stop on what's been a busy run of port stops. Again, I want to get this serious news out of the way, and then we'll chop it up a little bit about what's been going on with me and some other less heavy cruise news stories. First, let's talk about the cruise captain that was just found guilty of negligence. This is a Viking riverboat captain who collided with a smaller vessel back in 2019. The collision resulted in the sinking of the smaller vessel, which resulted in 27 deaths. The cruise captain was found guilty of negligence in those deaths. He was also charged with 35 counts of failure to render aid. He was not found guilty of those charges. This is the initial guilt find, but the prosecutor and the defense, the cruise captain, are appealing this decision. I'm assuming the prosecution may be appealing the not guilty verdict when it comes to the failure to render aid. And of course, the cruise captain is going to appeal this decision of his guilt. Again, this happened in 2019, but I do remember this. I do remember seeing images of this. This happened in Budapest, in Hungary's capital. I remember footage of these two ships colliding. A terrible tragedy, certainly. It looks like the captain is being held accountable for that accident, and I'll continue to follow along with the appeals. Cruise news story number 2. There is a notorious stop on Australian cruises. Cruises going to Vanuatu, and there's an island there called Mysterious Island, and I covered a story earlier in the year about a cruise passenger who died while swimming. It was found that he had a medical emergency while swimming on Mystery Island, but the locals there claim that this Mystery Island is haunted. And well, unfortunately, news is coming off of P&O's Pacific Adventure that one of their guests that was on board has passed away at Mystery Island. That's about the extent of the details right now. They're investigating. They're not releasing any more details beyond that for the privacy of the guest and the family. Probably no reason for concern, probably just coincidence. But yeah, there you go. Cruise news story number 3, almost in the same area of the world. Another P&O cruise ship, the P&O Pacific Explorer, was diverted off of its itinerary to render aid to a yacht in trouble. The yacht, called Second Life, sent out a distress signal. Pacific Explorer was able to answer the distress call about 12 hours after it went out. When they found the Second Life, she was being battered with a broken mast. Apparently, there were 3 people on board. One person had passed away. The other 2 people on board needed medical help. Pacific Explorer was able to transfer one person off of the yacht. Eventually, a vessel from the Republic of Fiji's Navy came and was able to complete the rescue. The injured passengers were transferred to Fiji along with the deceased sailor. It's another example of cruise ships. They'll stop whatever they're doing to go help in times of need. Unfortunately, there's loss of life in this story. I guess it's a fine line, right? Do people respond because they're obliged to do it because of law, or is it the benevolence? Is it the way seafarers are? I'd like to think that it's mostly the way seafarers are. Of course, there is the law component of it, but this is another fitting example showing how cruise ships fit into that ecosystem of seafarers and taking care of each other out at sea. All right, enough of the heavy news. Let's lighten it up a little bit. I've got somebody complaining over on Carnival, which is one of my favorite things to go through. I also want to do some ship spotting with you. I saw a fantastic new cruise ship that I did not anticipate seeing, and yeah, I'll tell you what I've been doing. But before I get there, let me do this. Let's quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. I know some of the folks that watch the show on a daily basis are like, Tony B, Where you been for the last 2 days? Well, man, I've been getting my butt kicked by this itinerary. I don't know if you're familiar with this itinerary. It's a 10-day itinerary that started in New York. And when we left New York, we had port stop every day. Boom, 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 boom. 8 days in a row for more than a week. Oh, it's Tuesday, right? I got on the cruise ship last Tuesday. We've had a stop every day. Finally, tomorrow, day 9, we have a sea day. And yesterday I had a full excursion that I'll have to tell you about because it's going to go on the list of not my favorite excursions. But it was a long day. Finally catching some of my energy. I spent most of the morning out in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. This is a great walking area. Went and finally got the haircut. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go with the long hair. Finally got the haircut and tried some Famous Cow's ice cream. That's one of those things you have to do, I guess, when you're in Canada. It was delish. And a lot more, but I'll share that with you at another time. But I want to talk a little bit about some ship spotting. Interestingly, I don't know that I've ever seen an Ambassador cruise ship face-to-face, but there is one here today, the Ambassador Ambiance. But that's not the cruise ship I was very excited to see. But check this out, y'all. It's the new luxury cruise brand from MSC, Journeys Explorer. This is their first cruise ship, Explorer 1. It's Explorer's Journey. They have the most challenging name for me. Either way, the cruise ship is called Explorer 1. It was in St. John, New Brunswick with us a couple days ago, and she is a beaut. Take a good look at this. This ship's not much smaller than our cruise ship, which holds about 3,000 passengers, I believe. That cruise ship is servicing just under 1,000 passengers, 992 passengers. I looked it up. For a cabin, it's about $4,500 a person. So it's a little pricey for sure, but it's all inclusive and it looks pretty nice. Journeys Explorer. So there's a little ship spotting. I've also been doing a little bird watching. If you've been following along, you know I'm obsessed with this board game, digital version of this board game called Wingspan, and I've become more attuned to birds. And so when I was in Halifax the other day, I came across this bird that was a scavenger bird, or it was there with the pigeons. I don't know what kind of bird it is. And then a beautiful surprise this morning when I was just sitting, chilling, looking out the window, enjoying the sea. I got this little friend out on my balcony, and I watched him for about 20 minutes, but I really wanted to get closer to him. And then, of course, as soon as I opened my balcony door, he flew away. But having some interesting bird activity. I know I've said it on every video over the last few videos, but this has really been an excellent cruise. Sea day tomorrow, Quebec the next day, fly home on the 29th, and I can't wait to tell you more about this whole cruise. I highly recommend this itinerary. But let's talk about this. There's somebody out there complaining on Carnival brand ambassador John Heald's Facebook page, the place where you go to complain about Carnival. And this complaint is fun. Let me just read it to you. This complaint comes from a passenger, first initial D, with 3 other spaces. So D space space space. I don't know. Is his name Richard? I don't know. Message: 15 drinks in 24 hours is pitiful, John. 15 drinks is easy to hit for most of us. Spiked coffee, mimosa, and a Bloody Mary, and you're already at 3 by 10 a.m. 2 to 3 beers at lunch, some after lunch, frozen drinks on the deck, and that's already 8 by 2 to 3. This America, it should be unlimited or at least raised to 20 drinks per diem, per day, y'all. John basically responds, no, 15's the number. We're not going to increase it at all. But let's talk about this. I'm not a drinker, so the idea of consuming 15 alcoholic beverages a day seems like a lot to me. But this guy's making a case that, like, as soon as he rolls out of bed, he's got the spiked coffee, and then got a mimosa and Bloody Mary at breakfast, and it sounds like this person can easily hit 15 drinks a day. A lot of times when I post this question, people will say that person is an alcoholic. I'm not an expert on alcoholism, and hopefully that if there's somebody out there struggling with it, that you can find the help that you need. You certainly can on cruise ships. There are meetings for Alcoholics Anonymous. But that it seems like a lot. Is 15 drinks a day enough, or is it not enough? Leave a comment below. Cruise News.